press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi everyone, today I am here with you to teach the 5th unit, that is the concept. The present lesson, it is written by Shanta Rameshwar Rao. Shanta Rameshwar Rao, she was a great author who was born in the year 1924. She was an Indian writer of myths, legends, short stories and picture books for children. And here in this lesson, she is telling us about one beautiful story which was based on a real life incident which was actually happened in the real life. So the lesson name is the concert. The concert means, the word it means a musical performance. What does it mean? A musical performance. So in Kannada we say Sangeeta Kacheri. Concert means musical performance. In Kannada we say Sangeeta Kacheri. So the whole lesson, it is telling us about one concert. It also tells us about the power of music. Yes, obviously, music, it has a great power. It is a form of art. It is a source of imagination. It is a source of entertainment. It soothes our mind. It gives relaxation to our mind as well as the body. So in the same way here, in this lesson, we will also come to know about the power of music because it is telling us about the musical performance. And the lesson, it revolves around many characters. So those characters are, the very first character is Anand, who was a 15-year-old boy and who was suffering from a deadly disease called cancer. Okay. So second character is Smita. She is the sister of Anand and she is a 16-year-old girl who fulfilled her brother's wish at last. So the story, it tells us about a sister, how she fulfills her brother's wish at last. Okay, so first character is Anand. He is a 15-year-old boy who is the best tabla player as well as the best sportsman, we can say. And Smita, she is the sister of Anand. She is 16-year-old girl. And Anand's father and mother. Anand's father and mother. Aunt Sushila. So she is the aunt of Anand and Smita. Aunt Sushila, she is the aunt of Anand and Smita. And two main characters are Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha. Ustad Allah Rakha. So here these two persons are the great musicians. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he was an Indian musician who was a great tabla, sitar player as well as a composer. And Ustad Allah Rakha, he was also an Indian musician. He was the greatest tabla player who very frequently accompanies Pandit Ravi Shankar in the concerts. Okay, so as I have already told you, this story is a real life incident. Okay, so these two names are the real names used here, and apart from these characters have been, the names of these characters have been changed. Okay, so the lesson, the concert, it tells us about a sister. Who is that sister? Smita. She is a 16-year-old girl who fulfills her brother's last wish. Okay, let's see what will happen in the lesson. Look at the lesson, observe the reading. Okay. The concert. Shanta Rameshwar Rao. One morning in a small apartment apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmukananda auditorium. Shh, shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You will wake him up. You know, he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. He raised himself up on his elbows for 1 second, then fell back. But his eyes were shining. We must not miss the chance, he said. I have always wanted to hear him and see him. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. He actually raised himself up without help. She murmured with a catch in her throat, and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. It's the chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. Smita bit her lip in self-reproach. She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. But some way, deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of 4, to their home in Gaganpur. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play sitar. They were both taking sitar lessons. But Anand was better than her, as in many other things. He was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru. Then cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. Whenever they came to Bombay, the family stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anant would be cured at the hospital and would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. And he would play the sitar and perhaps would be a great sitarist one day. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, take him home, give him the things he likes, indulge him, and they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. But they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anant with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave whatever he asked for. And now he was asking to go to the concert, the chance of a lifetime. He was saying, when you are better, his mother said. This is not the last time they are going to play. Okay, let us stop here. So, as I have already told you, concert, this lesson tells us about one boy and about her sister. So Anand, he was the best table tennis player. He was also good at playing sitar, but unfortunately what happened to him? He was suffering from cancer and he was already at the door of the death. He was at the final stage of cancer and he was bedridden. Okay, and Smita, she is the sister of Anand who had a great care and love towards Anand. At last, she fulfilled his last wish, last desire. Okay, so this is what the lesson. Look at the lesson. The concert, Shanta Rameshwar Rao. One morning in a small apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmukhananda auditorium. So observe the first paragraph here. So one morning, every day we read the newspaper, right? If something good news is there, we used to scream and we used to say it very excitedly. In the same way, one morning here in the apartment, a girl of 16, a girl who is 16-year-old, she looked up the newspaper and she was very excited and she said loudly, feeling very excitement, she said very loudly, looking at the newspaper, tomorrow Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing away at Shanmukhananda auditorium. Observe the word excitedly there. Excitedly means a feeling, it's a feeling which shows happiness and enthusiasm. Excitedly means a feeling of showing happiness and enthusiasm. Here, who was very happy and enthusiastic here? That girl, that 16-year-old girl, she is very happy to know that tomorrow there is a concert and that concert was done by whom? Pandit Ravi Shankar, he is going to play at Shanmukhananda auditorium. Observe the sentence there, said excitedly. Said excitedly. So who said excitedly here? That girl said excitedly. Right. Said excitedly. So in the last class I have told you about adjective. Is that so? Adjective means it tells us about noun and pronoun. It describes the subject in a sentence. Now I am telling you about adverb. Adverb means it describes an action. What it does? It describes an action. So here she said, we can consider here as she said excitedly. Excitedly is an example for adverb because this word it tells us about the verb, how it is going on. Then what is adverb? Adverb is a word which describes an action or a verb in a sentence. So you all know that said is a verb. It is the past form of say. So how she said? She said excitedly. Then it is an example for adverb. So you should come to know about this point because there will be a question in your question paper rewrite the paragraph using the clues. In that part you will be having a question like this. So here in the first paragraph you have come to know that one morning that girl, she looked up the newspaper and she was very excited and she was very happy to know that Pandit Ravi Shankar, a famous musician, I have already told you, Pandit Ravi Shankar, he was an Indian musician, the greatest sitarist and a well-known composer. Okay, so here he is playing at Shanmukhananda auditorium. Shh, shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You will wake him up. You know, he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. So here, mother, what she did? She made that girl to be very quiet. When we say someone to be quiet, we used to say like this. Shh, shh, be quiet. You will wake him up. Who will wake here? That girl will wake up the boy who was sleeping on the bed, and the mother is cautioning. Mother is giving a caution to that girl, saying that you will wake him up. Neena avana extra maadbidtiya. Pointing to the figure who was sleeping on the bed. She was pointing to the figure. One boy, he was sleeping on the bed, and that mother, she pointed on that figure and she said to that girl, you will wake him up. You know, you all know about him. You know, he needs the sleep. He needs the rest, all he can get. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said, Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. So, but the boy who was sleeping on the bed, he was not at all active actually asleep. Underline that word asleep. Asleep means in the state of sleep. In the state of sleep. Asleep means in the state of sleep. Who was not slept there? So that boy, he was not at all actually slept, and he listened to those words what his sister has told. He listened to that, and he was also very happy, and he was also very surprised to listen to that news. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the great sitar maestro. Observe the word maestro there, and it is given in your glossary. Maestro means a great performer, especially a musician. Dodda Sangeeta Vadaka. Okay. So here he is telling whom? Who is telling here? That boy who was lying on the bed, he is not at all actually asleep, and he said very surprisingly, Pandit Ravi Shankar, the great sitar maestro. Who is the great sitar maestro here? Pandit Ravi Shankar, he is the great sitar maestro. He raised himself up on his elbows for 1 second, then fell back. So what did he do? He was sleeping on the bed and he raised himself. He was trying to get up himself because he was not at all feeling well, and he needs someone to make him to get up. And for 1 second he raised himself up on his elbows. Elbows means monakai. So we usually actually sleep like this, right? Laying our head on this part. So what we can say to this? This is what the elbow, the bend, where the part where the joints it bend. So in Kannada we say monakai. Okay, so he raised himself up on his elbows. Elbows means this part of the hand, and for 1 second again then fell back. So he was trying to get up, and for 1 second he got up, and again he fell back. Fell back, it is the past form of fall. Fell is the past form of fall. Again he fell back there itself, but his eyes were shining. We must not miss the chance, he said. I have always wanted to hear him and see him. So, but his eyes were shining. Whenever we feel very happy, whenever we feel very surprised, and there will be a lot of happiness, we can express through our eyes, right? In the same way, the boy was very happy to know that news, and his eyes were shining. His happiness it was shown through his eyes, and he said, we must not miss the chance. So here we includes here that boy and that sister, both Anand and Smita. They both had a dream. They both had a dream to listen to the concert, listen to the musical performance of that great maestro. Who is the great maestro here? Pandit Ravi Shankar. They both had a desire, they both had a chance and wish. So that he said, we must not miss this precious chance. So he feels that as very precious, and he says, we must not miss the chance. And he said, I have always wanted to hear him and see him. So he is telling here, so I always wanted to see him. Once in my life, ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸರಿನಾದರೂ ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಸಂಗೀತ ಕಚೇರಿನ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. I have always wanted to see him once and watch his or see his concert. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. So that Anand's mother was very worried about Anand's situation. And when he raised himself up on his elbows, and when he started to speak, then mother sprang. Observe the word sprang there. Sprang means move quickly. Move quickly. So here who moved quickly to his side? His mother. His mother said, lie down, son, lie down. Don't make like this. Lie down there itself. And she goes very quickly to his side. He actually raised himself up without help. So why she moved his side? Because today he actually get up. He actually raised means he got up without anyone's help. So that boy actually, he was very serious. He was I have told you, he was already at the door of death. He was at the final stage of cancer. He was going to die in a few days. So today only he raised himself up without help. And she murmured with a cat in her throat, and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. So she murmured. Who murmured here? Mother. She murmured with a cat in her throat. So observe the word there, with sentence, phrase. With a catch in her throat means, it is given in your glossary. What does it mean is, with a feeling of great sorrow. So who is in a great sorrow here? His mother. She is feeling really very unhappy, and she is very misery. She is feeling very sorrow, and she murmured looking at the idols. Her eyes turned to the idols. Idols means they were a murtigal. She looked at those idols which were kept on the corner shelf. So there in the corner shelf they have kept idols, and she looked at those idols and she was praying. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. What she did? She moved to his side. She moved towards the sun, and she was looking at the idols. Idols means they were a murtigal. Okay. She looked at those idols and she was praying. The prayer, no, it came to her lips without asking any permission, because very frequently, every day she used to pray God to save his son. So that she looked at the idols, and the prayer, no, it uttered. Observe the word uttered there. Uttered means to say endlessly. To say endlessly. So who was praying here? That mother was praying looking at those idols which were kept on the corner shelf. The prayer, it came into her lips. She uttered endlessly. She said, she prayed very endlessly. That prayer, it came to her lips without being asked. So observe the word unbidden there. Unbidden means without permission. Because it has become a habit to her. What has become habit to her? Praying the God. So that the prayer, it came to her lips unbidden. Unbidden means without asking permission. She is looking at the idols and she is praying the God. I must hear him and see him. The boy repeated. So but the boy here, what he was doing? He was repeating the same words. What he was telling? I must hear him. Who does he want to see? Who does he want to listen? He just want to see and watch the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar. So again and again he is murmuring the same words. I must see him. I must hear him. He was repeating the same words. It is the chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. So what does he think? He thinks like that this is the chance of a lifetime. What he thinks as the chance of a lifetime? Listening to the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Here Anand, he is thinking that as the chance of a lifetime. So he has a great dream to listen to the concert, and he is feeling like that it is the chance of a lifetime, and suddenly he began to cough. Cough means ಕೆಮ್ಮೋದು. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಕೆಮ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, and he is struggling very hard to breathe. Gasp. Underline that word. Gasp means to take a loud breath. He is struggling very hard to breathe, so that he is gasping. Gasping means to take a loud breathe. So when he said very, very loudly, he felt tired and he started to cough and he gasped for the breathe and he had to be given oxygen, which that cylinder had kept under the bed, and he was given oxygen, but his large eyes were fixed on his sister. So where he was looking now, that brother, that boy, 15-year-old boy, he was looking at his sister. His large eyes were fixed on his sister because he thinks like that, my sister will do something for me. She will fulfill my desire. She will fulfill my wish. He had a lot of hope on his sister, so that his large eyes were fixed on his sister. Have you understood this paragraph? Look at the next. Smita bit her lip in self-reproach. So Smita, she felt somewhat bad here because she said very excitedly and very loudly she said, and here her brother comes to know about that, so that she was biting her lips. Whenever we do some mistake means we bite our lips like this. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಟಿ ಕಚ್ಚುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅವಳು. In self-reproach means she was blaming herself. She had done that work, so that she was blaming herself. She was criticizing herself, biting her lips. Underline that word. Bit is the past form of bite. Kachu. Right? Self-reproach. So it is given in your glossary. Self-reproach means criticizing oneself. Who is criticizing here? Smita, she is blaming herself because without being noticing her brother's condition, she said loudly, so that she bit her lips in self-reproach. She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. So she was very, very excited. Looking at that newspaper, she was very excited and she had not remembered about her brother's condition, who was very ill. So ಎಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, she has forgotten about her brother's condition, that he was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. So she had seen, she is quite big, right? And she comes to know about the situation, and she had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads. So the doctors also, they have lost the hope, and they said like that, we can't do anything, we can't make anything. So they have shaken their heads gravely. Observe the word gravely there. Gravely means very seriously. Who shook their heads here? Doctors shook their heads seriously, that saying like that, we can't do anything, and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. And they said words, and they spoken words, those words were not understood by neither Smita nor her parents. They could understand. So doctors have finally, they have told parents and Smita that we can't do anything. Okay, but somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. So somewhere deep inside, so what she knows the frightening truth. Observe the word frightening truth there. Frightening truth means very scary truth. ಬೆಚ್ಚಿ ಬೀಳಿಸೋ ಅಂತ ಸತ್ಯ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ? ಸ್ಮಿತಾ, she knows about the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. She will not be alive, and he is going to die within a few days. Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of 4, to their home in Gaganpur. So the word cancer had hung in the air. Observe the word hung in the air there. and it is given in your glossary. Worrying someone. That the word cancer has worried all of them. Observe the sentence again there. The word cancer had hung in the air means that word cancer had worried the entire family members of that Smita. Smita's family members were completely worried about that word, and even though they know about the frightening truth, even though they know about the truth, what is the truth there? Anant was going to die. So then also they pretended like that. Observe the word pretended there. Pretend means to act. So who are acting here? Anant's family members. Smita's father and mother all are acting like that. Anant will be cured, and he will be very cured very early, very soon he will be cured, and they would return together. So all of them, a family of only 4 members, Anant, Smita, Anant's father and mother, a family of 4, to their home in Gaganpur. So which is the native of Anant's family. So their native is Gaganpur. They had a strong hope. Who had a strong hope here? Anant's family members. They had a strong hope that Anant will be cured very soon, and we all, the family of 4, we will return to our home at Gaganpur very safely. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. So here this paragraph shows about Anant's multi-talents. He is really a multi-talented boy because he was very good in each and every activity, even in the studies, even in the sports, because he was the best table tennis player. He was only 15-year-old and he was the best table tennis player in the school, and he was also the fastest runner. Observe the word, the fastest. It is an example for superlative adjective. What we say is superlative degree. He is the fastest runner. Who is the fastest runner here? Anant. He was the best table tennis player as well as the fastest runner. He was learning to play sitar. They were both taking sitar lessons, but Anant was better than her, as in many other things. Observe here, Anant, he was also going to take the sitar classes. Who both here? Smita and Anant, both they used to go to the sitar classes together, and he was better. Who was better here? Comparatively, Anant and Smita. Anant was better than Smita in each and every activity. He was very, very good at all the activities. So that only I have told like that. Anant, he was a multi-talented boy, and he was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru, and he was already able to compose own tunes. You know about the music. So he was able to compose his own tunes even at that small age, and his guru was completely surprised looking at the skill of Anant. To their astonishment of their guru. Observe the word astonishment there. Astonishment means a feeling of surprise. Here, Anant and Smita's guru, he was completely surprised. Observe the word astonishment. He was completely astonished looking at the skill of Anant, feeling surprised. So who felt surprised here? Anant's guru, Anant's teacher felt surprised looking at Anant's skill, because Anant, even at that small age, he was able to compose his own tunes. Looking at this, so that guru, that teacher who was teaching him the sitar lessons, who was teaching him the music class, so he was completely surprised. Then cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. So at this very same time, what happened? So Anant was doing very good. He was very good in each and every activity, and his life was going on very smooth. At the same time, unfortunately, the cancer had struck him. The cancer had affected. Observe the word struck there. Struck means affected. What affected here? Cancer. He was affected with the deadly disease called cancer, and the family, the entire family, Anand, Smita and their father and mother, the entire family, they had come to Bombay, so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. So they had moved towards the Bombay. Even today, even we also, if we want further treatment, we will move towards some big cities, so that we will be having hope that we will get a good medication there. In the same way here, Anand's family, they had moved to Bombay with a great hope that Anand will be cured in that big hospital. Okay, look at the next paragraph. Whenever they came to Bombay, the family stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. So whenever Anand's family used to come to Bombay, and they always stayed at Aunt Sushila's apartment. So I have told you, Aunt Sushila, she is the aunt of Anand and Smita. They went to her apartment. Her apartment was not big, but whenever his family came there was always room for them. There was always a space for them. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anand would be cured at the hospital, and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. So I have told you, Anand's family, they had a lot of hope. They had come to Bombay with high hopes that in the miracles of modern science. Miracle means chamatkara. So they believed in the modern science, and there will be a treatment for our son. Who believed here? Anand's father and mother. They believed like that, having a lot of hope in the miracles. I have told you, miracles means chamatkara. ಸೊ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಚಮತ್ಕಾರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗ ಆರಾಮಾಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ನಂಬಿಕೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು? They have come towards Bombay. They told themselves that Anand would be cured at the hospital, and again he would walk. They told themselves, they had a lot of hope. Anand will be cured. Anand will become again he will be very cured. He will be cured very soon, and he will also take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. So he will be cured, and again he will compete in the table tennis tournament. So this hope, the parents of Anand, they had this hope, and he would play the sitar and perhaps would be a great sitarist one day. So this is what the positive attitude. So Anand's parents, Anand's sister, they had a high hope. They had a great positive attitude that they thought that Anand will become the great sitarist one day, and he will be cured very soon, and perhaps he would be a great sitarist. Again he will play the sitar. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, take him home, give him the things he likes, indulge him. And they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. So but the doctors in that cancer hospital, what they did, what they said to the parents of Anand, they said, his condition, it has become very worse. His condition, no, it grew worse. ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಗಂಭೀರ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. So that they advised parents, take him home, give him the things whatever he likes, make him to feel very happy, allow him to do whatever he wants to do, because they knew that boy had not many days to live. But they did not voice their fears. So who did not voice their fears here? Anand's family members. They did not raise their fears. They can't say it openly. Observe the word, voice their fears. Who did voice their fears here? Anand's parents and sister, they did not arise. They did not said openly about that fear. What was the fear here? Anand was going to die. They did not say about all those things near Anand, and they pretended. They acted near Anand that Anand will be cured very soon. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. So what did they do? They pretended like that. They acted, they smiled near him, they laughed, and they tried to fulfill every wish of Anand, and they gave whatever Anand used to ask. Whatever he may ask, they used to give. And now he was asking to go to the concert, the chance of a lifetime, he was saying. So now what happened here? They used to fulfill each and every wish of Anand. They fulfilled his every need. ಅವನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಗತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನ ಪೂರೈಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. But now what happened here? Now Anand, he was asking to go to the concert. He was asking to go to the musical performance which was going to play by Pandit Ravi Shankar, because he thinks that as his lifetime chance, so that here he was asking to his parents. Okay. When you are better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. So finally his mother tries to convince him. What he was saying? He was saying, this is a lifetime chance. I had a great desire to listen to that concert. I have to go. He was telling like this. Anand was telling like this. But his mother, what she said? She said, when you are better, when you will be cured, when you are better, then definitely we will take you to that concert, but not now. This is not the last time they are going to play. Obviously, right? This is not the last time. Ide kone sati antu avaru concert ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Next time when you will be better, when you will be cured, next time definitely we will take you to that concert. Who is telling like this? Anand's mother. She is convincing. She is trying to convince him that we will go next time. Okay. So I hope today you have come to know what I have taught today. Let's continue the remaining lesson in the next session. Thank you.